Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 14th of January. My name is Sahil and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, let's start with the video. In the today's video, we are going to discuss entire Hindu newspaper and we are also going to go in background as well as way forward in the articles. And before starting, I would like to tell you that you can download explainer PDF or explainer notes of the articles that we are going to discuss. Now the explainer notes will be available at Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box. Or if you want, you can visit Telegram and can search there by typing Thinking Parrot by Sahil and you will get the notes there. Now, let's start the discussion. But before that, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important for the exam. Okay, so here, first article, the buck stops with government to end hate speech, Supreme Court. So basically guys, in Supreme Court petitions have been filed with respect to usage of hate speeches in election campaigns. Many number of times hate speeches are being made even by many of political leaders. So in this capacity, Supreme Court had said that it's government's responsibility that they need to ensure that hate speeches, it is to be flagged, adequate policy actions needed to be designed that the hate speeches can be reduced. Now guys, this issue article is also talking, basically here it is also being said that media often has not played their responsibility in deterring the hate speeches. Now see this thing, that as this particular matter is going on, okay, you don't need to go too much in detail. Why? Because it is an observation that Supreme Court has made. However, no policy or any concrete matter has not come out of that. Okay, moving on. After that, rise in government capital spending pushes up investment by 53%. Okay, so basically the total investment in first 9 months by government has been high. Now understand this particular thing guys, that when we talk about these particular datas, I have told you many number of times that you don't need to follow every data on every other day. Why? Because economic survey will just come, and that in economic survey whatever important economic data are there, we will cover there. So every following month's data you don't need to see, but this is good thing that government is spending, it's increasing the investments. Then moving on, Congress government keeps poll promise, okay, will act to safeguard government's dignity. Okay, many political articles etc has been given. Okay, you don't need to go too much in this particular directions. Okay, so regional political news, crime related news are there. Now here High Court takes note of human animal elephant conflict in Odisha. So with respect to prelims dimension, some important aspects we'll see here in this article. Then below article, Rajasthan to form action plan for protection of Geo Heritage Site. This particular article also will see with respect to the examination. Okay, then further moving on in this particular direction, again advertisements, political regional news have been there. No need to go too much in detail in this particular direction. Yes, Kollam is the first constitution literate district. So we'll see this particular article as an example, as a case study, that what is important here. We'll take that. Then after that, Alpuza sees a decline in visiting water worlds. Okay, now guys, see this thing. I have also taken this article just yesterday or day before yesterday, where I have explained you that right now Asian water bird census 2023 is underway. This census will be conducted between 7 January to 22 January. So between and after that, the final result will be revealed. Okay, so we have seen Asian water bird census, which is a part of international water bird census. Water birds are those birds which are dependent on the wetlands for their survival. Now see, they are giving day-to-day commentary that okay, now Alpuza, okay, in Alpuza there is a decline in visiting water birds. You don't need to see and track that in every district what is happening. Okay, so in last, the final reports which will be released after January 22, fine, we'll see that. Okay, then editorial article, more than just an address. Will you see this particular article guys? This article is with respect to the recent issue where Tamil Nadu governor has skipped certain portions of the speech. Then below article, take a step to regulate deep fakes. Okay, now this particular article guys is on deep fakes. We'll see this article. Then on side we see this thing, bound supremacy. Now guys, from past 2 days, from past 2 or I think 3 days, we are discussing this particular article every day, what this article is all about. So recently we have seen this thing that again executive versus judiciary dispute had come to the limelight. So Parliament, All India Presiding Officers Conference is getting organized, in which presiding officers of different state legislative assemblies, they meet, they talk on common issues, common concerns. It's presided by the Lok Sabha Speaker. So in the opening address, Vice President of India said this particular thing, that government under the garb of basic structure doctrine has diluted the parliamentary sovereignty. Okay, parliament makes a law. They says that this law is ultra virus to the constitution of India. So they are diluting parliamentary sovereignty. Now, particularly this reference was made in the context of 99th Constitutional Amendment Act that got struck. Okay, so 99th Constitutional Amendment Act provided for National Judicial Appointment Commission for appointment of judges. Supreme Court said that no, it's diluting the power of judiciary and it was declared as ultra virus. Now this matter is going on again and again, that now it has been provided that such statement should not be made. However, we are already discussing it every day from past 2-3 days. The first of the four, Australian Open. Now the article doesn't contain much of exam substance. Then guys, this is ground zero report, and this ground zero report, fear and foreboding in Joshimath. Now see this particular thing guys, that again Joshimath, this land sinking that is going on, we have discussed it. First of all, one thing. Secondly, this is a ground story report. Ground story report. Now, what is the ground ground zero report? In ground zero report, they do the ground story and the people, their sufferings, their accounts are taken, their stories are told there. Okay, so this is that particular article. Okay, moving on guys in this particular direction. Then we have here again, now moving on in this particular direction guys. Okay, again that is continuing Dhankard's comments on judiciary part of game plan to create conflict Congress. Okay, now here Modi flags off world's longest river cruise from Varanasi to Dibrugarh. Okay, so we'll see this Ganga Vilas program that has been launched. Jai Shankar to visit Sri Lanka, may discuss debt crisis. So we see this particular thing guys, that basically when the Sri Lanka is concerned, we find this particular thing that Sri Lanka is facing economic crisis in the present times, and for that particular thing Sri Lanka has appealed the neighboring countries that they should come forward and should help Sri Lanka. So in this capacity, Minister of External Affairs will be visiting Sri Lanka next week. Now when he will visit, we'll see that what are the key takeaways. Till that time guys, you don't need to go and really go in this particular article, because the visit is next week. Okay, so fine. Now one certain important things guys I want to tell you here is that basically when we talk about India Sri Lanka, India has already given the assistance of more than $4 billion to Sri Lanka right now in these present crisis. Okay, now Sri Lanka is also expecting that more help should be given by countries such as China, India, Japan. Okay, now moving on. After that, marriage of minor girls, Supreme Court to check legality of personal law. We'll see this particular article with respect to the exam as what it is containing. Then after that, panel on Supreme Court status for Dalit converts awaits staff budget. So guys, recently we have seen this particular thing, that government has constituted KG Balakrishnan Commission. Government has constituted KG Balakrishnan Commission. Now this particular commission was constituted to study that the Muslims, the people, Dalit people who converted to Islam or Christianity, can they continue to receive the SC status? Will they get the SC status after the conversion or not? So to study this particular matter, KG Balakrishnan Commission was constituted. Now this commission has not been given staff, not has been given budget. Okay, so this is being talked about. And guys, if you are following newspaper analysis regularly, this article came a lot in news in month of October. Okay, now moving on. After that, we come to world page. Russia claims capturing of Soledar, Ukraine denies. Okay, so this is commentary on Russia-Ukraine war that is going on. Okay, so fine, this is similar kind of a things. Okay, regional, the internal issues are being discussed. India's trade deficit with China races beyond $100 billion. So basically guys, India's trade deficit, okay, or India's current account deficit has always been high. Trade deficit, fine, particularly with the China, has increased, has surpassed to more than $100 billion. It is because of import dependency on China that India has developed. However, to counter that thing, we are working to bring the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. But in the long term or in the medium term, we need to seriously focus on reducing our import dependency, because such high trade deficit of $100 billion is obviously unsustainable. Then corporate trends, etc., has been given. Wipro's quarter 3 profit, Dr. Reddy by Pfizer's breast cancer drug rights, and then we have the sports page. So this is, guys, the overview of entire newspaper, and now let's discuss all the relevant articles one by one in detail. Okay, now guys, in every class we start with a GS quotation. Now this particular quotation can be used. So in every class we take with the GS quotation, and this particular quotation, okay, so in this quotation can be used to complement our answers in GS paper number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So guys, today we are going to take quotation from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now this quotation reads, so long as you do not achieve social liberty, whatever freedom is provided by the law is of no avail. So basically, social liberty. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that the societies, okay, sometimes on the basis of caste, sometimes on the basis of class, sometimes on the basis of ethnicity, certain sections of society has been restricted. Okay, they have been restricted in terms of opportunities that they can avail, in terms of vocations that they can pursue, in terms of education that they get. So the point is that, first of all, if we want to bring political liberty, economic liberty, that thing will only come if there will be the social liberty. So until and unless social liberty is not given, whatever freedom is provided, whatever rights are provided by the constitution, by the law, they will be meaningless. So first focus should be on giving social liberty to individuals. Now this particular idea can be used in GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 4, ethics. Okay, now let's start with the first article. Guys, in the today's newspaper, much of articles which we will be taking, fine, they are inclined more towards the prelims examination. However, some articles for mains orientation are also there. So High Court takes note of human animal conflict in Odisha. Now the takeaways in this particular article we'll see with respect to prelims examination. Prelims examination. Now, first of all, guys, I'll tell you that what's happening in this particular matter. Okay, prelims examination as well as GS paper number 3, environment and conservation. Environment and conservation. For that part also we can take this particular article. So see this. What is happening? Basically, you might be knowing about the man-animal conflict. Man-animal conflict. So often we have seen this particular thing, that because of population pressure, okay, and because of unplanned development, humans are venturing in the territories of animals. Okay, this particular thing is leading to multiple number of problems. Number one, zoonotic diseases. Okay, if we talk about the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which is responsible for present COVID-19, this virus has the zoonotic origins. And because of this zoonotic disease virus, we find this thing that health crises are emerging. Moreover, when we are intruding in the territories of animal, man-animal conflict has also increased in the recent years. And such one type of man-animal conflict is man-elephant conflict. And particularly man-on-animal conflict have been increased in the state of Odisha in the recent times. Okay, for that particular matter, now the High Court in Odisha is taking up this particular matter, that what government should do in order to reduce these man-elephant conflicts that have happened. So in this particular direction, it has been provided to the Odisha government that you need to focus more on ensuring that elephant corridors are there in proper shape, they are not being encroached upon. Okay, so this particular matter has been discussed in this particular article. But guys, multiple number of times we have seen this particular thing, that elephant man conflicts have increased a lot here as well as in southern India also. It has increased a lot. So let's discuss some of the basic information about the elephants, because such questions have been asked in exams as well. So when we talk about, guys, elephants, so in India we find the population of Asian elephants. Okay, so majorly population of elephant that we find in India are Asian elephants, and within Asian elephants there are three subspecies of elephant that we have: Indian elephant, Sumatran elephant, and Sri Lankan elephant. Okay, and guys, when we talk about the total population of Asian elephant, around 60% population of the Asian elephant is in India. Now Asian elephants, or the Asian elephants, fine, they have been in IUCN red list. They have been given the status of endangered, and under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 they are kept in Schedule 1. Schedule 1 means that highest protection has been given to elephants. Okay, now when we talk about elephants, guys, see this particular thing, that we have protected areas. Okay, we have protected areas, okay, or elephant reserves. For example, right now we have 32 elephant reserves in India. Okay, moreover, in national parks, sanctuaries also, the elephants are contained. Now point is that elephant needs to move from one region to other region. Okay, because the point is that if elephant will stay in one particular region for prolonged times, regeneration of the grasses will not be able to happen. The region will not be able to accommodate elephant. Moreover, being a big species, they need to move from one place to another place as well. Fine, so they move from one region to another region. Now for this particular thing, elephant corridors have been designed. What are elephant corridors? Elephant corridors are the narrow strip of land which will give a passage to elephant for moving from one place to another region. Now guys, in this particular capacity, government has identified around 88 elephant corridors in India. Actually, World Wildlife Trust of India has identified 88 elephant corridors in India. Now as we talk about these 88 elephant corridors, they have been identified as a part of a national elephant corridor project, and these elephant corridors are in 20 are in South India, then in northwestern India, central India, northwestern Bengal, northern western Bengal, and northeastern India. And in this particular capacity, particularly the state of Odisha has around 14 elephant corridors. 14 elephant corridors. Now these elephant corridors, they are very much important, because I have told you this particular thing, that when we talk about the elephant, fine, movement will help that their population, fine, first of all their population are genetically viable. Now basically, guys, see this particular thing, that when a particular population of any animal, be it elephant, be it tiger, they are living in one particular region, so obviously there will be the interbreeding in the members of that particular animal community. What will happen over a period of time, because of the interbreeding has happened, gene pool gene pool of all animals in this particular region will be same, and when they will have same gene pool, they will be vulnerable to same kind of diseases, they will be susceptible to same kind of other vulnerabilities, etc. And because of that thing, if a deadly virus, deadly disease comes in this particular ecosystem, their population will be wiped out. Okay, so therefore what we need to ensure, we need to ensure that diversity in their gene pool, we need to ensure that diversity in their gene pool is kept intact, and for that thing, the elephants or any animal of one particular region need to breed with the animals of other region, because here there will be different gene pool, here there will be different gene pool, other place there will be other different gene pool. So basically they need to move across the regions, so that interbreeding across the different places can be ensured, which will be help in enhancing the diversity in gene pool. It will at the end of the day will ensure their survival, at the end of the day it will ensure their resilience from diseases. So we need to ensure that particular thing. Moreover, it also helps, fine, if we have movement across the different regions, it helps the regeneration of forest. Okay, so this is, therefore elephant corridors are very much important. Today we see this thing that 40% of elephant reserves that we have in India, they are vulnerable. Okay, many of them don't have adequate protection, many of them their size is not optimum to accommodate the population. Okay, so this is one thing that had happened. Moreover, guys, we also see this particular thing today. Many of the jungles, forests, they have turned in farms. They have become hotspot for tourism. Okay, and animal pathways are blocked because of developmental activities, highway projects, infrastructure projects. Elephant corridors have been blocked. Their reserves, okay, many times national parks, sanctuaries, their area is being compromised for these developmental projects. Okay, so therefore, guys, it has been provided that we need to ensure that elephant corridors are protected. We need to ensure that elephant protected regions, they are to be protected, so that elephant don't intrude in human civilizations. Okay, if they will intrude in human civilizations, these kind of issues, these kind of problems are bound to happen. In the case of Odisha, there are 14 elephant corridors that are there. In case of Odisha, there are 14 elephant corridors that are there. These elephant corridors have been identified 2 decades ago, but up till now, nothing has been done for their conservation. So this is something that needs to be actively be looked upon. Now, basically, guys, what are the most important projects for conservation and protection of elephants in India? We are going to see them. So first of all, Gaj Yatra, Gaj Yatra, Gaj Yatra. So what is Gaj Yatra? Now, as we talk about Gaj Yatra, it is a nationwide campaign to protect elephants. Okay, and Gaj Yatra has been launched in 2017 on World Elephant Day. Then we have Project Elephant. So on the lines of Project Tiger, Project Elephant is being driven since 1992. Okay, which is a centrally sponsored scheme. Then monitoring of illegal killing of elephants, that is Mike program. Now Mike program is mandated under the resolution of CITES, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, under CITES Mike program is taken. Clear or not? India is also the signatory under Mike, and here we try to protect the regions in which elephant live. We aim to protect the elephant species. Okay. Now, this is about the major information that you might be needing for your examination. Now, moving to next article. Modi flags off world's longest river cruise from Varanasi to Dibrugarh. Okay, so this particular article, guys, we'll see with respect to prelims examination. We'll see this article with respect to prelims examination, plus we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3 tourism. GS paper number 3 tourism. Okay, now let's take this particular article, guys. Now, what has happened? Prime Minister has launched world's longest river cruise ship. Okay, and that is MV Ganga Vilas. Just a minute. So basically, Prime Minister has flagged world's longest river cruise ship, MV Ganga Vilas. Now, this particular river cruise ship will be covering a distance of 3,200 kilometers, and India and connectivity is provided between India and Bangladesh. Okay, so it will be covering a distance of 3,200 kilometers in 15 days. Fine, reaching Assam's Dibrugarh through Bangladesh. Clear? Now, basically, guys, this particular Ganga Vilas will be stretching across the Ganga, Hooghly, and in total it will pass through 25 different streams and rivers. Okay, now basically, guys, this particular Ganga Vilas journey, it will be an opportunity for India to showcase different tourist destinations that are on the course of Ganga. Now, when we talk about, guys, Namami Gange project, okay, we have one particular pillar under the Namami Gange project, that is Earth Ganga. Earth Ganga. What do we mean by Earth Ganga? Earth Ganga means to utilize the economic potential of Ganga river basin. So Ganga river, it can provide a lot of economic opportunities in tourism, in fisheries, aquaculture, okay, and many other activities can be supported by the Ganga river. So sustainably, in a sustainable manner, how we can reap the economic potential, that is the goal of Earth Ganga. Now, as Ganga Vilas has been launched on Ganga river, so we see this particular thing that it will help in meeting the goals which were envisaged under Earth Ganga. Now, through this particular MV Vilas, we will try to showcase more than 50 tourist spots, which will include World Heritage Sites, national parks, river ghats, major cities which have historical and cultural significance, for example, Patna, Sahibganj, Kolkata. Okay, so this is something. Now, guys, this will give impetus to India's tourism, which happens to be a low hanging fruit. Fine. Moreover, today, as we talk about the global river tourism, or river cruise tourism, it has increased manifold in last few years. For example, to complement it, I want to give you some data here. Now, guys, understand this thing, that today global river cruise market, okay, river cruise, okay, for example, Nile River. On Nile River, there is an iconic cruise. Fine, if you might have heard about it. So, global river cruise market, it has grown at the rate of around 5%, and it will constitute 37% of cruise market by 2027. So we have a river cruise, we have cruise in oceans, seas also. So river cruise will constitute 37% of total cruise market. And today when we talk about the river cruises, in here Europe has the significant stake. For example, Europe is having 60% share of the cruise vessels in world. India up till now has not explored the river cruise potential. And in this particular capacity, guys, now India will focus on leveraging the river cruise potential by Ganga Vilas. We see this particular thing, that right now 8 river cruise vessels, they are operational between Kolkata and Varanasi. Okay. Now, when we talk about, guys, river tourism, we have tried to explore certain activities on river tourism, for example, river rafting, river kayaking, all these things. But river cruise tourism, okay, can be a low hanging fruit by which India can reap economic advantages. Okay. Moreover, when we talk about national waterways, on national waterway number 2, which is on Brahmaputra river, there is some cruise activity that is going on. But over the years, India needs to ensure that all the national waterways that we have, we should be coming out with such kind of activity. So that is all, guys, about it. Now moving to next article. Marriage of minor girls, Supreme Court to check legality of personal law. This article will see with respect to GS paper number 1 and GS paper number 2. Society, social justice, issues related to women. Issues related to women. Society, social justice, issues related to women. Now they will overlap in GS1 and GS2, and for that we are going to see this particular article. Now let's go in this article's detail. So basically, guys, see this particular thing, that when we talk about issues of marriage, marriage comes under personal civil law. Marriage comes under personal civil law. In India, as of now, we don't have UCC, that is Uniform Civil Code. And because we don't have Uniform Civil Code, it means different religious communities, they are free to the different religious communities, they are free to have their own norms with respect to the civil matters. In civil matters, largely 4 things will come. Number 1, marriage, adoption, divorce, inheritance. These 4 matters comes under the personal civil laws. And because we don't have Uniform Civil Code, different religious communities can take them as per their own religious customs and traditions. Now when we talk about, guys, marriages, okay, basically we have seen this particular thing, that in Islam, okay, it has been provided that women could be married once they attain puberty. Now a girl attains puberty around the age of 14 to 15 years. Clear? But at the same time, we have one other law as well in India, that is Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. Now under Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, minimum age for girls to get married is 18 years, and minimum age for boys to get married is 21 years. So PCMA provides that a girl cannot be married before 18, but personal civil laws of Muslim communities, they provide that they can be married between the age of 14 to 15 once they attain puberty. So here we see that directly a conflict is there. Directly there is a conflict. Now this particular matter reached to Punjab and Haryana High Court. Punjab and Haryana High Court gave their ruling. They said that as we don't have uniform civil code, religious communities can have their own laws, okay, on civil matters. So by logic, Muslim women, they can be married at 14 to 15 years of age. Okay. Now by this particular thing, there is one problem that will open up. What problem will be opening up? If a girl is married at puberty, let's say age of 14 to 15, one, it will go against the Prevention or Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. Okay. Secondly, it will also be going against the provisions of POXO Act 2012. What is POXO? POXO stands for Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. Under the POXO Act, it has been provided that a child is a person less than 18 years of age. And a person less than 18 years of age cannot involve even the consentful sexual activity. Okay, a person below the age of 18 years age cannot involve in sexual activity even if the consent is there. Now see this particular thing, that if the girls are getting married at puberty, after that marriage, obviously there will be a sexual intercourse that will be there, and that will go against the provisions of the POXO 2012. How to resolve this particular controversy? Okay, so for this particular thing, now matter has reached to Supreme Court. Okay, for this particular issue, the matter has now reached to Supreme Court. So what Supreme Court is now going to do? Supreme Court will check the legality, of marriage of minor girls, fine, under the personal law. So guys, if you know this particular background, then you'll be able to understand implications of this particular article. So what has happened? We have seen this particular thing, that this judgment was given by Punjab and Haryana High Court that Muslim women can marry at the age of 14 to 15, and I have already explained you that how it will have implications on the PCMA and the POXO. Now on this particular direction, NCPCR, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, fine, it has moved against the Punjab and Haryana High Court order in Supreme Court, and they have said this particular thing, that if this will happen, then it will violate the POXO Act's provisions, PCMA Act's provision. Okay, so Supreme Court has said this particular thing, that Supreme Court will look in this particular matter. High Court's order would not act as a judicial precedent for other courts. Now we know this particular thing, guys, that basically the laws that have been passed by Supreme Court and High Court, so we have seen, we know this particular thing, that the orders that are passed by the judiciary, the high courts, Supreme Courts, they are followed as a precedence. In this matter, High Court's order will not be followed as the precedence. Now in this particular line, guys, recently National Commission for Women, along on the lines of NCPCR, has also raised this particular matter, that can they really be married once they attain puberty, because Punjab and Haryana High Court has allowed it. So what will happen now? That legality will be checked by the Supreme Court. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that as we talk about India, yes, we don't have uniform civil code. It has been provided that uniform civil code should come in India. Even Uttarakhand government recently constituted a commission to study the feasibility of UCC. Okay, but the point is that before bringing UCC, we need to identify such provisions which are oriented towards women's, okay, which often becomes discriminatory, which often opens the doors for injustices. We need to bring uniformity in such kind of laws. Okay, so that is all, guys, about this particular article, and now we'll move to next article. Okay, so this is an editorial article, take a step to regulate deepfakes. Fine, editorial article, a minute, take a step to regulate deepfakes. Now this particular article, guys, we'll see with respect to GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, cyber threats. Cyber threats, as well as in GS paper number 4. GS paper number 4, need for cyber ethics. Need for cyber ethics. There also we'll see this particular article. Fine. Now, moving on. So basically, guys, over the past few days, we have seen this particular thing that deep fakes have become a big nuisance. Okay. Now, first of all, guys, what we understand by deep fake is simply synthetic media, doctored video. So here you can see two photographs. Okay, so the first photograph that you can see here, it is a real photograph, real video, actually not a photograph, real video of Donald Trump. And then here we can see this is the fake one. Okay, this is the video that has been made by deep fake. So basically, in past, as we have seen this thing, that Photoshop, anybody's picture, anybody's image can be morphed by using Photoshop. In the same way, today the morphed videos can be made entirely from scratch by using strong artificial intelligence softwares, algorithms that have advanced. Today we got generative AI. That generative AI can make images. Fine, it can also create videos. So these deep fakes today, they are becoming a big issue, not in the entire India but the world. There is a lack of proper regulation on these deep fakes, and because of that particular thing, individuals, corporates, and many number of times nefarious actors with unethical vested interest are using them. Okay, now first of all, we see this particular thing, guys, that today we know this particular thing, that as we talk about the deep fakes, these deep fake videos can be used to spread misinformation, propaganda. Okay, and as they can spread misinformation, they can spread propaganda, they might lead to spreading hatredness, they might bring certain law and order challenges in the society. After that, we find this particular thing, that history of deepfakes to depict someone in compromising and embarrassing situation has also been witnessed. For example, today many of the deepfakes are being used for creating pornographic material for celebrities. Okay, and this goes against their right to reputation, their right to dignity. Fine. Then we find this particular thing, that today the deepfakes are also being used to carry financial frauds. Now, recently, what has happened? Recently, guys, what has happened? So, basically, just a minute. Recently, certain scammers, they used AI powered software to trick the CEO of a UK energy company. So the CEO of this UK energy company was made a phone call. Okay, and basically it was said that one of a supplier has to be transferred some money. CEO transferred that money, who was supposed to be the supplier, and then it was found that this entire video was doctored, it was a deep fake. So financial frauds are also being carried by using these deep fakes. Okay, now basically, guys, here we also see this particular thing, that particularly deep fake can become lethal tool. It can become lethal tool, okay, into the hands of India's non-friendly neighbor. So countries such as China, Pakistan can use deep fakes for for enhancing their own agendas. Number one, what they can do? Number one, they can influence elections. Now, first of all, guys, we see this particular thing, that the Taiwan. Now, first of all, when we talk about Taiwan, for Taiwan, China maintains one China principle. One China principle. As per this one China principle, China says that Taiwan is not an independent sovereign country. Taiwan is a part of mainland China only, and one day Taiwan will be merged with China. So always China aims to destabilize internals of Taiwan, okay, so that the Taiwan doesn't emerges as a vibrant sovereign nation. So what happens? Recently we have seen this particular thing. Taiwan is becoming concerned about China as it is spreading false information and is trying to influence public opinion in their elections. In the same way, we find this thing, that China can also influence Indian elections by using these deep fake videos. Then these deepfakes can also be used to carry out espionage activities. Okay, so basically doctored videos, fake videos of high profile leaders can be made, and these videos can be used to blackmail government. certain videos of high ranking officials can be made, and they can be used to elicit some information from the leaders or from the officials who have some access to sensitive information. So we find this particular thing that to for retrieving state secrets, etc., they can be used. Then after that, we also see that these deepfakes can also be used to radicalize a population. Radicalize population. Now, basically, a particular section of population could be radicalized. A doctored video of a religious authority, of some religious leader, can be shown, and by that particular thing, their radicalization can be carried. For example, X community and Y community are different. Okay, Y community's leader can be shown that he has made certain comments against X community and they can be radicalized. Actually, that leader never made that comment. It was just a fake, deep fake video. Okay, so these are certain things that for radicalizing population, for recruiting terrorists, and to incite violences, these deepfakes videos can be used. Okay, this is something. Moreover, then it also leads to a very big problem, that is liar's dividend. Liar's dividend. Now see this thing many number of times. Suppose a person had done something and that video gets leaked. Person will take advantage, will say that I am not that person, that is a deep fake video. So many number of times people will take refuge under that deep fake excuse. Okay, so the liar dividend. Then right now, we need to ensure that we have enabling legislations in India by which deep fakes problem can be deterred. First of all, right now we don't have much of a provisions which will deal with the problem of fake deep fakes. For example, today we have Indian Penal Code, IT Act of 2000. Particularly, guys, under IT Act, there are certain provisions which can be used. Now, section first of all, in IPC, section 500 of IPC provides punishment for defamation. Okay, so somebody has spread a video, had made your deep fake, and is driving a malicious agenda against you. You can file the complaint against under the section 500 of IPC. Second is that there is section 67 and 67A of IT Act. Now, section 67 and 67A provides the punishment for leaking some explicit content. Okay, like sexual explicit content. Then we have a Representation of People Act 1951, and under Representation of People Act 1951, it prohibits the distribution of false or misleading information about a candidate. So if a party is using deepfake video of some other leader, it cannot be done. It is an offense. So these are provisions which can be used. But guys, still these solutions, these provisions that are there, they are inadequate. They are inadequate for dealing with the problem of, just a minute. Fine. So yes, still the provisions that we have, it's inadequate, and there is a gap between the laws and actual threat of deep fake that we have. So we need to bring new age legislations which will be able to deal with all the dimensions of deep fake generated videos that we have. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. Now here India, India is proposing Digital India Bill. Now this Digital India Bill will club many of the aspects, many of the diffused provisions with respect to IT Act and many such kind of interventions. So Digital India Bill, fine, can be brought, and under this Digital India Bill, deepfakes and many other emerging technologies which can be used for dual purposes can be brought here. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. And now we'll move to next article. Okay. Now, more than just an address, more than just an address, more than just an address. Okay. Now, basically, guys, this particular article we'll see with respect to GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, federal issues, federal issues. Okay. Now, let's take this article first. Now, okay, guys, so recently this incident happened. We have covered it in past also. You might be knowing it. Okay. So recently, first of all, let me tell you what was the event that happened. Tamil Nadu governor, while making an address in Tamil Nadu's legislature, dropped certain of the references from his speech. Okay. And then he dropped certain references of speech where name of certain eminent personalities, leaders were mentioned. He even dropped the reference on Dravidian model of governance. Okay. Now that particular thing was not liked by the legislators of Tamil Nadu. Then the chief minister passed a resolution that the copy of speech that was printed and was distributed to the members will be accepted, and not the governor's speech where he dropped certain references. That will not be accepted. The printed copy, the final versions will be accepted. Governor walked out of the house. Now, this particular thing has called in question that what should be governor's role? Can governor do these things, or governor cannot do these things? What's the importance of the governor's address that governor makes to the house? So all these provisions, all these issues we are going to discuss here. Okay. Now, first of all, guys, basically we just a thing. So basically the precedence of governor addressing the house, president addressing the house, this particular precedence we have borrowed from United Kingdom. Okay. Fine. So this particular precedence we have borrowed from United Kingdom. Now, basically in United Kingdom, every new parliament, if it is convened, it requires the election of a speaker. It is to be completed. Election of speaker will be completed by both the houses, and only once the election of speaker will be completed, the public business can carried. Public business or the business of the house can be carried. Okay. Then it has also been provided that apart from this, the king himself or the Lords Commissioner acting on his behalf need to address the house. Okay, so king will mark a speech, will give a speech, and that particular speech will formally open the house for their discussion, for their businesses, for their transaction. Without this address, the house, the legislature in UK cannot function. We also adopted the similar kind of concept in India, because Indian polity is based on the Westminster style of polity that we have borrowed from UK. Now, in India, we see this particular thing that as we adopted parliamentary democracy from UK, such provisions are there in India as well. For example, we have number 1, Article 87. We have Article 87 of Indian Constitution. Now, it requires that the president will give a special address to both the houses of the parliament after every general election. When the first session will be carried, a president will address the house, and the first session of every year the president will address the house. Here president will be enlisting what are government's activities that it has done in one past year, what government intends to do in coming year. Okay, so government's broad ideas, objectives will be listed here in front of house. Article 87. Then Article 176 is also there. Article 166 is also there, and for the states, governor needs to do the similar things. Okay, so a governor will make a special address as the first session of each year in the state legislative assembly, and if there is a legislative council, it will also be there. Now, on the special address of governor, there is one particular judgment that has been mentioned here, that is Sayyid Abdul Mansur Habibullah versus the speaker. In this particular judgment, the Calcutta High Court was hearing the matter about the address that is to be given by governor. And in this particular judgment, the West Bengal Legislative Assembly provided that this special address that governor has to make, it is just a ceremonial formality. It don't have any special political significance. It's just a ceremonial formality that is being taken. Okay, but the High Court, okay, now, but it has been observed that this particular address is not just a ceremonial address, because it keeps the members informed about policies of government. It keeps the members informed about the priorities of the government. What are the areas where government is going to give the most of its focus in the days to come. So therefore, it is very much important. Now it has been provided that if there is a known delivery of the special address, then information cannot flow. Just a minute. If there is a non-delivery of that special address, information cannot flow, and if information will not flow, it will hamper debates, it will hamper discussions and deliberations. So therefore, this address is very much important, and it is not just a ceremonial, it has a special purpose. Okay, so this is something that has happened. Moreover, this particular address, guys, is being taken up as a constitutional convention. As a constitutional convention, as in UK, the king makes an address. In India, president and governor makes an address. Now, in this particular address, they are given the speech that is verified, the speech that is vetted by Parliament in the case of president, and Council of Ministers, State Cabinet in the matter of governor. Now, the same thing happened in the case of Tamil Nadu also, but governor skipped certain parts of the speech. Now, Supreme Court has held this particular thing, that this address is important. Why? Because it is a part of constitutional convention, and it has been provided that as written provisions of constitution are important, in the same way constitutional conventions are also very much important. These constitutional conventions fill the gaps that are there. So if certain thing is not written in constitution, that gap will be filled by these constitutional conventions. So these constitutional conventions are to be followed, and they are needed to be respected in its spirit that has been provided. Now, when we talk about Article 361, guys, Article 361 gives governor complete immunity from legal action. Okay, why? Because governor was expected, governor was supposed that he will be behaving as per the constitutional norms, as per the constitutional principles, constitutional morality. Now see this thing, as per the Constitution of India, governor cannot act without the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. This is the constitutional morality of governor. Governor needs to respect that thing. Okay. Now, moving on, guys, in this particular direction. So the article is saying this particular thing, that in past we see this thing, that there are serious breaches of constitutional conventions that have happened. There are ugly spats, ugly conflicts between conflicts that have happened between governor and the elected governments. Fine, for example, in West Bengal, such things have happened. Recently in Kerala also, there was a controversy between the government and governor. Governor needs to be responsible. Government needs to understand the constitutional role of the governor that was envisaged. Okay, so this is something that has been provided in this particular article. Now, moving to next article. Now, moving to next article. So here we can see article Rajasthan to form action plan. Rajasthan to form action plan for protection of Geo Heritage Sites. Now, this particular article will see with respect to prelims examination, okay, as well as ecology, environment and conservation. Now, guys, see this particular thing, that first of all, when we talk about the Geo Heritage Sites, what are Geo Heritage Sites? Now, Geo Heritage Sites are those sites, these are those places that have geological features, certain land formations, certain relief formations, okay, which have geological formations which have significant scientific, educational or cultural value. Now, there are certain regions which have a particular type of rocks. These rocks will have a geological historical value. So these sites are protected and they are given the Geo Heritage Site tag. Geo Heritage Site tag is given by Geological Survey of India. Clear? And these sites are protected. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about the geological heritage sites, okay, now I have given you the list in your handout, and in this particular list, geological heritage sites we have in different states, they have been mentioned. So you can refer to this particular list in your handout. Now, as we talk about the geological heritage sites in Rajasthan, the particular sites such as the Udaipur, Pali, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Bundi, Chittorgarh, okay, these are the sites which are under mining threat. Okay, they have economic worth value because special type of stones, okay, architectural stones that are found at these sites. For that particular thing, mining is to be carried, and at the same time, many of these sites are also the geological heritage site. So if I show you the Rajasthan, fine. So here we have now Pali, okay, Udaipur, Chittorgarh, Jaisalmer, Ajmer, Jodhpur, okay, Bundi. These are the geological heritage sites. As they are geological heritage sites, okay, fine, and at the same time, they are also the sites for rich architectural stones. So when government is taking mining here, it is impacting the Geo Heritage Sites because they were meant to be protected. So how to balance this particular thing? For it, Rajasthan will now form an action plan as how protection of these geological heritage sites can be carried, and at the same time how their economic worth can also be leveraged. Okay, so this is this entire article. Fine. Now guys, moving to next article. Kollam is the first constitution literate state. Kollam is first constitution literate state. So basically guys, just a minute. Yes. Now, basically guys, understand this particular thing, that number one, just to know the fact, is just bare literacy. It's just bare literacy. To know the importance of the fact is knowledge, and to know the application of knowledge is wisdom. Okay. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that we often use the term constitutional morality. Constitutional morality means that people, as well as government, as well as the state, different wings of the state, number one, they need to understand the constitutional ideals, written as well as unwritten constitutional ideals. They need to follow Constitution of India in both letter and spirit. Now, if you need to follow Constitution in letter and spirit, first of all, we need to know about the constitutional ideas, constitutional values. Even we have fundamental duties mentioned in article number 51A. Fundamental duties prescribe certain duties on the individuals, but often they don't know. Why? Because they don't know about the basic tenets of constitution. So constitutional literacy happens to be a very important aspect. It happens to be a very important thing in a civilized society. But sadly, constitutional literacy is either very less or it is completely absent. Now here we see the Kollam in Kerala has become the first constitution literate state. Okay, so guys, here we find this particular thing, that Indian constitution as a part, here we find this particular thing, that people have been educated on the Indian constitution. Is it clear or not? And in this particular capacity, the constitution literacy campaign has been started by the Kollam District Panchayat, District Planning Committee and Kerala Institute of Local Administration. So this is a very good example that how the institutions at grassroots, they are promoting the constitutional values. Okay, so the people who are above the age of 10, they have been educated on various aspects of constitutions, fundamental duties, fundamental rights. Okay, what are the responsibilities of government, accountability, which government has to furnish. So all these particular aspects have been spread out fine through in the Kollam district. So this is guys a good case study. Fine. When we talk about the political ethics, fine, the basic condition that political ethics will be there, it is that how far the citizenry of a particular region knows about constitutional ideals. So you can use it in the GS paper number 4 as a case study. Okay, fine. So that is all guys about it, and now let's take mains practice question for today. Okay, so guys, the mains practice question for today that we are going to take is, deepfakes could end up being a lethal tool to create tensions in the country. In this context, discuss the need for a legislation regulating the nefarious use of deepfakes and the broader subject of AI. This question will be for GS paper number 3 and GS paper number 4. GS paper number 3 cyber technologies, GS paper number 4 ethics. Okay, so please write this question, and guys, if you want to submit this question, we have created a peer reviewed platform. So you can, for that you can visit our main Telegram channel, Thinking Parrot by Sahil. You can find the pinned comment there. In pinned comment there is a link of that peer reviewed Telegram group that we have created. There you can upload your answers, okay, and your friends will also be writing their answers. You can get inspired, you can learn that how they have written. So by this particular thing you will be able to correct find the deficiencies that were there in your answers. Okay, and you can also get some review of the other fellow aspirants who are writing it. So that is all guys about this particular session, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, I hope that you have understood this session fine, and at the last, guys, you can download the PDF notes as well from Telegram channel, and if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button. Please do support our initiative. Thank you so much.